Good vibe. Thanks so much. It is my first time speaking here. I have spoken to groups before, but they're often groups of young offenders or young people in schools where I talk about mental health and well-being. So if I get stuck, please behave like teenagers and then I'll be fine. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for that great introduction. I want to start by telling you a bit of my story and trying not to cry while I do so be kind. Exactly 10 years ago, I remember waking up, there you go, and I remember the room and the ceiling that I was looking at, and I remembered that I wanted that day to end before it had even begun. I dreaded every second of that day and what I would experience, and I just wanted it to be 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, so I could go to sleep again and forget that the day had ever been there. I knew then that I had a choice to make. I could either end everything, or I could figure out how to live a great life, because I saw people doing it, and I knew that it was possible. So those were my choices. That's where I was. So now I am a coach, a workshop facilitator, a therapist, and I work with individuals to give them, this is some of my passion, to give them some of the strategies that I used over my life's experience and over all the work that I've done, so I can help other people not have to be at rock bottom for as long and in such a harsh way that I did. If you could experience it for a second but then be able to move on, imagine how much space and energy that you would have to invest in the future that you want. And so to give you a little bit of context, as you saw in my bio, I was raised in a religious cult. People usually get very curious and want to buy me drinks then. I tell them I'm an alcoholic, and that doesn't work out very well. But before you think, maybe that doesn't relate to me, I didn't have such an extreme upbringing, who here has ever made a decision in their life based on other people's expectations of how they should live? Quite a few of us. So my example may be quite extreme, but I realized that I used it as an excuse for a whole long time to go, dude, I'm fucked up. Can I swear? I'm fucked up. So I was raised in a cult, you know. I'm depressed. I have alcohol issues. I'm in despair, surely. And I would convince people. I would be out there and I'd be like, you get it. If you were in this situation, you'd get it, and you'd be in the same place. There's no hope for people like us. That's how you would feel. But it took me a while to realize that actually everyone shares this bit of humanity. We all grow up in a family, a culture, a community, a school, and have a government or ideas that society bring to us and tell us that's the way we need to live our lives. Does anyone relate to that? Your own family, your own rules. And so my experience was really living in a bit of a bubble that was quite safe. And as long as you followed the rules, you were okay. It was as soon as you veered off grid and didn't follow the rules that you were fucked. And so at 23, moved to London, pregnant, and suddenly found myself playing 1950s housewife to a boyfriend who would go to work, and I felt invisible and alone and depressed. And that led me to that memory 10 years ago, to that room, thinking, what the fuck is the point? How do I figure out how to change things or to live life differently? So my life is completely exponentially different than it used to be. Woo! Yes, it is. So 10 years later, so I have two beautiful children. My boyfriend is now my husband. I do work that absolutely fulfills me and that I absolutely love. I have a master's degree. What I didn't say was growing up in a cult, we weren't given any formal education. Loads of life skills through traveling and cultural awareness. Yes, I learned to appreciate that, but no formal education. So that was another reason for why I couldn't possibly do anything that other people did. I didn't have the foundation. And I spent years complaining about why that was the case and why I could never be the person that I truly deserve to be. Recently, my son, who's 12, was offered 5 scholarships to prestigious secondary schools. Now, that's not just me showing off. Well, it is a little bit, but it's not just me showing off. It's me, the kid who had no education, now is able to give the gift of education to my children. The gift of curiosity, aliveness, and being able to be whoever they want to be in the world. So imagine if we learned some of these strategies when we were younger and we passed them on to our kids and they knew that they had choice. That's some of why I do work with teenagers, is because you can set them up for that path so much earlier than the clients that come to me. They're in their 20s, 30s, 40s going, fuck, I played all the rules, I did everything right, and I'm unhappy, and I'm unfulfilled, and I don't know why. So today, I'm going to walk you through some of the strategies that I used for myself, but crucially, they're ones that have translated into working with hundreds of clients, young people, and parents to help them avoid some of the pitfalls that I sank deeply into. Are you guys in the right room? Is this the kind of stuff that you want to hear about? There's some nodding. Okay, good. Okay, good. This is me, yes. So I'm going to give you a little overview of what we're going to go through during this workshop. 5 steps. We'll keep it simple, but crucially, I want you guys to go on a journey with me so that you can put this into practice right here and now and set up a bit of momentum so that you can move on in your own journeys. What do you want? Number 1, it's crucial. We spend so much energy thinking about what we don't want. Has anyone ever done that, like round the pub after work, talking about what a shit husband you have? Sorry, that was me. He's not shit. He's a great guy. But you know what I mean? My job shit, this happened, that. And we spend so much of our energy there that I'd like to just shift our focus a little bit and actually ask ourselves the question, what do we want? Not what do we need even, not what we should want or what we should do next, logically, by society's rules, but what do we in our core actually want? I'll then just ask you to really get real and get honest with yourselves more than anyone else and go, well, if that's what you want, why haven't you done it already? Okay? We'll then move into a slightly different tone. I'll try and use my mellow Zen voice, which I'm still practicing, but we'll work on visualizing success. And this isn't just a workshop gimmick that's kind of fun and gets you all to close your eyes while I watch you. It's not really about that. It's actually how can you practically do something like this in 1 minute to set you up for the day and to set you up for the future that you want to keep momentum. Now, I love the story of like, oh, Coke girl, ooh, success, it's all wonderful. When actually, there's always the how-to bit in between, right? What happens when you get stuck? How do you keep going even though you get knocked back? You cannot leave this room until you've committed 3 things to yourself for what you're going to do next in your quest to live the life that you truly deserve. Is that okay? Is that okay? Yes. Okay, good. I thought you guys were in the right room. Very good. So just to set the tone of our day, love Tim Ferriss' 4-Hour Workweek. Anyone read that book? Hottest nerd around, but that's not why you should read him. I love some of the messaging that he has, which is around how the opposite of happiness actually isn't sadness, it's boredom. And that can be watching your Netflix for 8 hours straight while eating a tub of ice cream, but it can also be living the exact, he's smiling, is that you? But it can also be living the same monotonous routine that you just feel like you should do over and over again, and that can be boredom. He says the synonym of happiness is actually excitement. And I love this because this is bandied around schools all the time. ADD, everyone's got ADD, as in attention deficit disorder. However, he switches it up and says that there's an epidemic, especially in Western society, of adventure deficit disorder. Is that as profound to you guys as it is to me? No? Yes? A few nods. Okay, good. And so if we can just, I'll urge you today during this workshop to treat it as a bit of an adventure. Get playful. We don't need to get too serious about it, but what you will take away are some clear steps for how you can assess what it is you want and what it is that you want and how you can move things forward in your life. Very good? Yeah. Very good. Okay. So to start us off, we're going to get to that question of what is it that you want? And for 1 minute, I'd like you to do an exercise on your own, because I think it's good for us to connect with ourselves and our own thoughts first, and then be able to share that with somebody else. So you will get to know each other and you will work together. So what I'd like you to do, for those of you who are organized and can draw circles, please do draw some kind of little circle and divide it into 3 on your paper. Or if you don't have paper, please just keep 3 ideas in your mind for the sake of this workshop. Yeah? So when it comes to what do you want, this bit is kind of easy for me. I always have lots of ideas of what I want. Not everyone knows exactly where they want to be, though, in 5 years and that sort of thing. I certainly, when I was in my sort of depths of despair, didn't know that I wanted to speak in front of people or that I wanted to impact people's lives in a big way. Like, that was too far removed from any of my reality, so I couldn't have told you what I wanted. I could have told you what I didn't want. I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to cry all the time. I don't want to feel like I want to end my life, you know? So for the sake of this exercise, don't worry if you don't have like a thing, like a promotion or a, something like that that you concretely want. But you can put down a feeling. So think of the opposite of what you're always complaining about. I think I wanted to be respected, I wanted to be smart, and I wanted to be adventurous and be able to travel. You understand, everyone? Nodding. Okay, good. So 1 minute on the clock, just write down, take a playful attitude to this, 3 things that you want. Are there any questions about this exercise? No? Good. Go. Timing you. Decide, decide, decide. Everyone have something, whether it's in your mind or on your paper. Yeah? Good. So what I'd like you to do now, she nodded and her page is blank, so I don't know. I can help you during the break, yeah. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is now pair up, and I realize in the front you're sitting with 3s. See if you can pair up with 2s. Maybe you can kind of do that, okay? And what I'd like you to do once you're in your 2s, actually get into your 2s first, please. So just face somebody that you're going to work with, whether they're next to you, behind you. Guys, in order for me not to yell, because that's very unbecoming, if I just put my hand up, is that okay, just to get everyone's attention? Cool, cool. Is everyone in a partner? Raise your hand if you're not in a partner. Everyone's in a partner? Good, good. So what I'd like you to do, you're going to have 2 minutes each way, and I'm going to put you on the clock. The person in your group who has the shortest hair is going to start. Yeah, think about that. And what I'd like you to do is tell the other person for 2 minutes what it is you want. Now, I want you to fill up the entire 2 minutes. So if you've done your headline, I want you to say why you want it, why people who have it are amazing, why everyone should want it, and just get into detail about why that thing or those 3 things are the best things since sliced bread. Ready? Shortest hair? Start. 2 minutes. Hey, everyone. I'm so glad that this room knows exactly what they want. Everyone knows, huh? How was that for people? Was that easy to talk for 2 minutes about what you want? Was it difficult? Just in the group? It's easy. You could have talked longer, huh? Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? It seemed easy. Everyone was talking, and you could have talked for longer, definitely. Great. So now that you know what you want for the sake of this workshop, we're going to move you through a bit of a journey thinking about how you can actually achieve those things. Now, as we were talking about before, society, friends, parents, ideas, they all have a bearing sometimes on what we end up doing or what we choose to do. The idea of we need to make money or we need to be settled at a certain age, all that stuff kind of impacts us. So this is the easy bit. We're going to fly through this bit. Because what I want you to do now is talk about why you can't have those 3 things. Okay? So please partner up with someone else, because I want you to get to know as many people as possible. So please, just quickly, without talking, just eye contact, and connect with somebody else that you haven't worked with yet. Everyone in a group of 2? Hi, sorry. Okay, everyone's in a pair, very good. So what I'd like you to do now, the person with the darkest color shoes is going to start. And hold on a minute for your instructions. Hold on. Literally, it's like teenagers. Okay, so the darker shoes is going to start. But now what I want you to do is fill up the 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes again to convince the other person about why you will never, ever get those 3 things that you want. Okay? You will never get them. Convince them that you don't have enough money, you don't have enough talent, you don't have enough resource. It will never happen, okay? She's like, what the hell are you doing? Go with me. There's an ending. We're going somewhere. Okay, person with the darkest shoes, 2 minutes, go. Give me a group of 215-year-old boys and I can get attention easier than that. Okay. Thank you. How was that for people? These are the stories you know really well. This is the stuff you talk about all the time. How was it getting really convincing that you could never do these things? It was, whoa. Hard? My husband knows if he ever tells me I can't do something, that will be the thing I will do, right? What were you were shaking your head?
I had a really hard time, too, convincing somebody that I couldn't do it, because I'm the same way. If somebody says that I can't do it, I'll do it.
Right? Okay. Good. You're going to go far. Yes?
I was sort of convinced already that I couldn't do it.
Okay.
But when I listened to the young lady's story, it sounded like to me she was convinced she couldn't do it. And I was coming up with sort of ideas, thinking, no, but you could do this, you could do this. Then it made me think, hang on a second, I'm just being a negative Nancy.
I'm glad you've come to that conclusion. There's hope. Anyone else? How is it for other people? Yeah.
I feel like a lot of things like you shared, even in the previous example, it was quite common. Like you've seen these things before, maybe not in the exactly same way, but in the same energy, the same message. And that was really interesting.
So what are some of the reasons why you couldn't do what you wanted?
Things like self-doubt, things like you were saying before, how other people perceived you. There was that kind of flavor. I can't go into detail, but
Yeah.
all that.
Is it the right thing? Is this the thing? You know, that whole thing about picking one thing. It's got to be right, rather than just moving into something. Okay, good. Oh, now that we've got that out of our system, yeah, we're going to move into a slightly more imaginative energy, using your word, to move us into thinking about the possibility of what could actually be out there. So the things that you want, I bet they're not even, for most of you, the 10 out of 10 out of this world things that you want. Yeah? Yeah? I bet they're the kind of, oh yeah, that's the next step, rather than the, this is where my life could go. And the other day I was reading a random analogy. There's a frog at the bottom of a well, just run with me. There's a frog at the bottom of the well, and he thinks that the sky is only as big as that circle, right? But it's only once he begins to rise and use his imagination and moves up the well that he then goes, there's an entire landscape out here. There's an entire horizon that I hadn't even thought of, possibilities for me to hop to. It's a frog. That was the best I could do. But you get the point, right? We can choose to see much bigger than we're actually trained to in our daily lives. So I want to talk about visualization. Now, who here, it's a bit of a fluffy word, but who here actually visualizes themselves doing the things that they want to do? Well done, you all. Very good. Okay, so I want to just tell you a little bit of an example about how visualization doesn't have to be some long, fluffy thing, but can actually be reduced right down into a practical exercise that you can do to move yourself forward. Now, I certainly used it for myself when I was doing my master's degree, while raising 2 children, while working full-time, and I would wake up at 4 in the morning to try and get some study in before my kids woke up. I would certainly, at my down, I'm never going to do this, I'm not smart enough kind of moments, I would visualize and imagine myself, just go with me, yeah, cap and gown, first person in my family to get any kind of degree. I would put detail on it, walking across the stage and getting handed that scroll from the most intelligent person known to man. But imagine my shoes, ladies, imagine the shoes, it helps. And that literally got me through some of the hardest study times, because I could just be like, I would imagine who would be in the audience, who of my friends and family. I would imagine the look on their faces, and I would imagine the feeling that I would get of achievement and pride. And that got me through 2 of the hardest years of my life, okay? And so another example, visualization isn't enough, right? We don't want to stay stuck in our heads, because then that's just like daydreaming, right? So there's a process to this. Now, I worked with a client about a year and a half ago named Jack. He was about 43. graphic designer, pretty successful in his life. And when I said, what do you want? He said, I want to be a published author. So I said, oh, are you working on any writing at the moment? No. Are you telling anyone that you're writing? No. Can't tell people if I'm not doing it, right? So I said, okay, let's take a little step back. And so in the session with him, we visualized, and he was a very visual person anyway, what that book would look like. So he literally imagined what the cover would look like, what it would feel like, the design of it, because he was so inclined, where his name would be on the book, where it would be in the bookshop, who would pick it up, what would their faces be looking like when they opened it and read the words, and the impact that it would have on their lives. Now that was only step one, but it allowed him to sort of move up the well and think about the possibility. Step two for him was act as if it's happened. So I encouraged him to practice talking to people as if he was an author. So he would talk around the pub or with his friends and family about working on a short story project. And as his confidence grew, he started saying, yeah, I'm a writer on the side of my day job. This is what I do. He hadn't written anything yet, okay? But he was acting as if so that he could get into the mindset of an author and then get the discipline to actually do the thing. Now, again, that's not enough. But these two steps certainly make this one a hell of a lot easier. So the next one was he had to block out some time in his week to actually write. But by this point, he was so excited about the possibility of this short story book and what the cover would look like and what bookshops he would sell it in, that he was raring to put aside one evening a week in order to write his stories. And he's now looking to be published, and he's written all his short stories. So kind of a three-step process for how visualization can move you forward in your life. So what I'd like to do now, and I'm going to get into my mellow yogi voice. I'm going to try. It's not very easy for me. Try to allow you a little bit of space and time, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes and just, this is quite a general, generic visualization. But I want you to fill in the blanks because you know what it is you want and how you're going to feel and what's the full picture of what you're looking for. Okay? Everyone comfortable? Ready? Yes. Put your pens and papers down. Try and just ground your feet and get comfortable. Say that out loud.
I said I've changed what I want all of a sudden.
That's great. She said she changed what she wants all of a sudden. Please don't stick to your 3 things in that original exercise, because the process of visualization might make you get new detail that you didn't think was possible for it. It sounds like the frog is rising. Anyway. Okay, so get comfortable. Get into a comfortable position. Allow your eyes to close. And begin to focus your awareness on your breathing. Notice as you breathe in how heavy your breath is. Notice whether it's in your chest or in your stomach. Don't try and change it at this point, but just notice how it feels in your body. Take a nice, big, deep breath in through your nose and allow that breath to travel down through your body into your lungs, your belly, through your arms, down your legs, and out through your feet. Take another 3 or 4 of those types of whole body breaths. Notice how each breath allows you to become more and more relaxed. Notice how the clarity of your thoughts starts to increase, a sense of being relaxed, and just feel yourself falling backwards into the ground or back into the chair. Now imagine that you can float up into space and leave this building. You're going through the ceiling, up, up, and into the sky. Leave your body, go up above the clouds, and notice the landscape of your life below you, the past, the present, everything that's made you who you are up until this point. Now what I'd like you to imagine is you drifting forward in time. Fast forwards as if you're able to see yourself in the future. Float above yourself and see yourself living out the life that you truly want. You've dealt with all the challenges and excuses, and you're doing and feeling everything you've dreamed of. Notice who's around you, what you're up to, how life has changed, what relationships you have. How are you responding differently to friends? And notice the decisions you've made differently to get you to where you are now. Feel it in your body. Where do you feel it when you observe what's changed? When you see this positive, ultimate outcome? Focus on this place in your body and surround it with warmth and courage. Add as much detail into this scene as possible. Know that whenever you focus on this place in your body, you can come back here and know what's fully possible in your life. Now float back up into space, to this time and place, above this room, and gently come back into your seat and open your eyes. So now, in silence, just for a minute or two, grab your pen and notebook and just jot down anything, any thoughts, ideas, images, new things that you want, anything that's come to you just for a minute. To give you an opportunity to talk about the visualization just in small groups, just for 5 minutes. You can be in groups of 3 or 2, whatever actually kind of huddles around the room. And just think about, we have a gentleman here where it really didn't work for him. Do you mind saying what stuff was coming up?
I was visualizing probably what I didn't want, and I actually have never really thought about it before, and I was like, this like old man alone being the miser shouting at kids. But I don't know if that was just because I've watched too many films like that.
And what I said was that in a minute after the break, we're going to talk about using fear to your advantage. So I was terrified. I was terrified of ever being back to the place where I wanted to end my life, right? And that certainly propelled me to do a shitload of stuff. So maybe that angle will work for him. Okay, for a couple minutes, just in your groups, just discuss the visualization and what came out for it, and we're going to move into a break pretty soon. Go, talk. Okay. You'll be pleased to know this room is, well, you'll not be pleased to know this room is so hot, but we are going to go into a break in a minute. Did people get something useful or opposite to what this gentleman got during the visualization? Like, what kind of stuff was coming up for people? Yeah.
I found it really, really positive. I found I was able to kind of see where I am currently and be able to sort of project that on into the future and see if I'm actually on the track that I want to be on, but kind of in a more, kind of developing where I am at the moment. So it's nice to see a kind of a tangible vision that connects to where I am at the moment, as opposed to seeing it as some distant sort of unattainable thing.
So it felt attainable and like something you could get to.
Doing that kind of thing of looking at where I am now and then looking at where I want to be, sort of in that sort of order.
Okay.
Helps connect the dots.
Great. Anyone else? Yeah.
Well, I normally in everyday life I cannot think more than 2-3 years in advance. Even that sounds like very impossible. But for some reason, when we were having this exercise of visualization, I just started to have an idea of something which is a long-term goal, but started to see it a little bit more clearly, like in 15-20 years time, which is like so much more than 2-3 years, which I can't imagine right now. So
Wow.
I think maybe opening some doors.
You saw that sort of big picture for you. Okay. Great. Anyone else?
For us, we were like, when we get to that point, we just imagine, all that you saw everything, and all of a sudden we can go down like, oh, it's a long way. And for us,
When you were descending back, you're like, oh no, lots of work. Okay, so you saw the possibility. A tip I once got from a coach that I would do sessions with a while ago was talking about how a lot of us manage people within jobs, or we manage projects, or we have that kind of management ability when we're out in the workplace. But we kind of fail sometimes to put that management hat on when it comes to our own lives, and almost setting out a strategy for, if we're at this point and we want to get to that point, what are the steps that we need to do in the middle in order to get us there? So it's kind of a useful tip for me. So we're going to go to a 15-minute break. What we are going to do in the second half is we're going to jump right into what are the things that make us stuck. And then I'll offer you the 5 strategies that I've found for myself, but also for the clients that I've worked with are the sort of the best things to counter some of the things that get us stuck. And then finally, crucially, we will take some action, and you will commit to yourselves to take some steps along that journey. Okay, so everybody knows what they want. She keeps changing her mind. We know that we don't have to believe the excuses for why we can't have it now. So we're going to move into, yay, we have the idea, it's so exciting. What happens when day 2 happens and we fall flat on our face, right? There's some nods over here. So what are some of the things that get you guys stuck or get you tripped up when you've got all that momentum? Think about New Year's, you got all your resolutions and you're moving things forward, and then you go, oh, where's the ice cream? Or whatever. That's what I do. What happens for you guys? Facebook? Evil Facebook, yes. Somebody says to you, you can't do it. Very good, yeah. So that kind of knocks you back. Is that what happens? Is it often people closest to you? Right? Like people like in your immediate family. I'm like, I thought you were on my side, right? What else? Sorry?
Not feeling like you have the time.
Not feeling like you have the time. Okay. And I like to say, we all have as many hours as Beyonce, right? So we can challenge that one. What else?
There's no consequence.
There's no consequence.
You don't do it.
Okay.
You don't do something.
So you'd be like, nobody cares, nobody knows. Okay. There's no, like in school, when you get detention, you don't get any of that. So you have all the time in the world, which can be dangerous.
Kind of similar to that, like people keep asking why. They keep explaining, they keep asking why.
So why you're doing that thing or why you want to do it? Sounds like that can be flipped into an opportunity to convince yourself of, this is why, and I'm going to say it 20,000 times a day, and then convincing yourself that you definitely need to do it. Anything else?
Sort of building off that, I think, but if you're in sort of friendship circles and stuff, to make other people in your immediate circle compatible with what might be a drastic life change can be difficult, if that makes some sense.
It does. I'm not sure it was loud enough. So something about the impact of what you do on your friendship circles?
Well, yeah, generally, it's in your immediate circle. So sometimes you have to make quite a drastic change.
Sometimes you do, yes. So I quit drinking 8 years ago. I know what you mean. Suddenly, people have a problem with somebody not drinking in this country. They're like, why? 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 Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? I'm like, I'm fine. Are you okay? You know? So you're right. There's an impact when we do change ourselves, and that can make it harder. Anything else?
What about fear? So you might lose friends, as you just said about the whole alcohol thing. Or what about if you're using your life savings to do a business and you lose all? What about fear if you lost something?
Well, what about fear? Yeah, fear's a really big thing. And something that I do with my coaching clients is I draw a line down the middle of a page and I say, this is you, this is fear, what's on the other side of fear? What do we want to get to? What would be, if this did work, what would be the result of that? And then you realize that fear is just a smoke cloud. It's just a word. And we can actually, I'm going to get into this, we can practice using our courage muscle. Yeah? Just like we can go to the gym, we can practice being courageous. And Tim Ferriss, yes, a super fan, he does something to practice his courage muscle. Some people nodding. He'll literally go into a crowded space, like a dance floor or a club or just out on the street, and he'll just lie down flat on the floor. He'll lie down flat on the floor, right? And people will start looking at him going, what in the world, right? And all he's doing is building his courage muscle and tackling the shame that we feel when we do things that aren't supposed to happen, right? So the more you do that in little stupid examples, the more likely you're going to be able to use courage and have built it up when the big stuff happens. Does that make sense? Okay, we're going to get into how we use fear to our advantage in a minute. So, I mean, you've said some of these. These are the top 5 things that I've kind of narrowed down that clients have come to me and that I've used myself and that people have said, these are the reasons I get stuck and I can't move forward. So number 1, waiting for the perfect conditions. When this happens, then I will. And often the conditions aren't in your power. They're like, when that person does that, or when this happens at work, then I will find the opportunity. Waiting for the opportunities to come to you rather than creating the opportunity for yourself. So that idea of being the manager and having a strategy for your own life. Often we have to create our opportunities rather than sit around and go, yeah, nothing good ever happens to me. Yeah? Having too many ideas? Anyone relate to that one? Whoa, quite a few of you. Oh my God, this is fun. This is exciting. I should do this. I should do that. But which one is the right one? I don't know what to start with, right? What if I start with the wrong one and then the right one, right? And we get stuck into our head. So having too many ideas. And I'm going to get into the 5 strategies to kind of be the antidote to these in a minute. Busy, no time, Facebook, yeah? I've really found that I started using being busy as a coping mechanism. So if I was busy, then I wouldn't have space to feel who I really was inside, because that was kind of scary for a little while. So I would find that it was when I stopped and I sat down and I thought, now it's time to relax, that the anxiety would actually begin to bubble up into my chest and my brain, and I'd think, oh my God, in order to fix that, I need to be busy again. And that cycle leads to burnout. Yeah? No confidence now, and no confidence and no money. Like, I haven't got this. So it's kind of similar to waiting for the perfect conditions. Whereas actually, it's interesting. People come to me because they say, I need confidence. Give me confidence so that I can, you fill in the blanks, get the job or the promotion or whatever it is. And I'll say to them, go do the thing. Take the action. And you'd be surprised that the feelings and the confidence is going to come and build up over time. So it's kind of flipping that one on its head and doing something even if you don't feel like it at the time. Because if we're waiting for our feelings to create the perfect conditions for ourselves, then we're probably never going to do things that aren't fun. And sometimes it takes work to move into the life that we really want. So I'm going to move into the 5 strategies that I've used for myself and I've used with hundreds of clients that I've worked with, teenagers, parents, and individuals who feel stuck. Now, number 1, this isn't me being patronizing, start. And I'm going to add to that word and say, start before you're ready. Okay? Does that make sense to people? Start before you're ready. Can I actually get you all to say it out loud? Start before you're ready. Say it again. Start before you're ready. Once again, twice as loud. Start before you're ready. Thank you. Sorry to treat you like school children. I didn't mean that. But we gotta, if we believe this, that we can start before we're ready, that challenges the notion that all the conditions need to be perfect before we can start. So just start. Be with people on the next level to you. When I was still uneducated, absolutely depressed, and at the bottom of sort of my despair pit, the one thing I did know was that I wanted to work with teenagers. When I was 17, I lived in Russia and worked with kids who were on the street and sniffing glue, and that changed something for me. And I knew I wanted to impact teenagers' lives. But who was I? I didn't look like your classic sort of youth worker. I didn't speak the right language. I didn't know what I was doing. But what I did was I went and volunteered one night a week at an inner city youth club in the heart of Peckham in order to, they didn't need me, they had a lot of funding, they were just being nice, right? But I surrounded myself with young people so I could learn what they liked, what they didn't like, how they spoke, what was important, and surround myself with youth workers who were in that scene. What's the saying? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Have you heard that one? And I think that's true, especially when you strategically want to get to the next level in your life. Surround yourself with people who've already done it, and then you'll learn the steps to get you there. And you'd be surprised how many people love talking about how they got somewhere. All you have to do is be curious and ask questions, and it happens. We touched on this a little bit. Use fear to your advantage. Listen. And I was saying, maybe there's something that terrifies you, and it could be, there's a visualization I sometimes do that's, mildly morbid, but it's thinking when you're absolutely old and on your deathbed, what are the things you want to look back on and say, yes, I lived a good life. I achieved, and I did the things that I wanted to. And I certainly didn't want to get back into the horrific place that I was. Get good at things. Now again, this seems so simple. It seems so simple. But so many people come to me and they say, I could never do what so-and-so is doing. They have all the talent. They had the right foundation. They had the right supportive parents. I could never do that. And I just think, well, how did they get there? These days, to challenge the money issue, you could pretty much learn things anywhere. You can learn from YouTube, you can learn from the internet, you can go to free meetups, you can ask somebody to mentor you who's in the industry that you're interested in. There are so many ways for you to just focus and get good at things. And again, if you're like, but there's so many things I want to get good at, just start, pick one, yeah? Because the thing is, once you start, even though it's not the right thing, I'm not quite a youth worker now, but that was a stepping stone into being able to do workshops on mental health, which is something that I'm quite passionate about, and gave me the people skills to do the coaching that I do today. Nurture a growth mindset. Have people heard of Carol Dweck, she did a TED Talk, a couple people in the room. She's also written a book. I recommend it to every client that I have. And it's all about, they use science to look at children and the ones who fail and the ones who kind of naturally get back up again, and the other ones that it affects in a really big way and they're not as resilient. So if you can nurture a growth mindset, that basically means fail well, fail often, and just keep going, yeah? Don't wait for the perfect conditions, just mess up and keep going. And you'd be surprised what you can learn through the things that you mess up at. Does that all make sense? Yeah?
What's the name of that book?
It's Developing a Growth Mindset, I believe. Yeah. Does what it says on the tin. Carol Dweck, D-W-E-C-K. Yeah? And search her TED Talk as well. That will give you a lot of insight. Any other questions? Nice, knowledgeable group. Okay. Any other strategies that you know of? Because I certainly don't know everything. This is my journey and what's worked for my clients. But you might be going, there's something else that I'd love to teach the group. No? No. It's too hot, isn't it? Okay. So this is the most exciting and necessary part of this evening. And that is we're going to figure out what action we're going to take in our own lives. Okay? Okay, because you guys get so excited and you start talking before I finish, I'm going to talk you through, kind of demo the whole thing that we're going to do, and then we'll take it from there. So we're going to get into groups of 2, preferably with someone that you haven't worked with. I'd also like to encourage you to stand up, not yet, but when you're working in your groups of 2 for this exercise, I want you to stand up because there's a lot of science behind our physiology and the way our body language is that allows us to project confidence and actually believe ourselves what the hell we're talking about. And then that's infectious, allows other people to believe it too. And when other people believe it, they might hold us to account, right? You're talking about there's no consequences. It can be great if you've connected with somebody today to exchange email addresses and set up an accountability partner. So I often do that, being self-employed. I'll link up with a friend. In fact, my accountability partner is right here. Hi, Rachel. And we'll Skype with each other. We'll say, these are my goals for the week. And then we'll be in touch and we'll go, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? And we'll try and push ourselves to the next level. So again, that doesn't cost money. That's just a mate that you're helping out and you're exchanging support. So from the beginning of the day, and you may have changed the thing that you want, and that's totally fine, pick one of the things that you said that you want or that you'd like to use for this exercise. It can change. That's completely fine. And then I want you to write, I will, and write 3 things that you're going to do. Now, it doesn't matter how small or how big, whatever. It's personal to you and what you think you want to do to get you closer to your dream. This is important. By when? When are you going to hold yourself to account and do it by? Now, both partners have a job. Rachel, can I just use you as a demo person? So partner A, their job is going to be to tell partner B, after you've written it down for yourself, I'm going to give you a minute to do that, then you're actually going to say it out loud. You're going to say, I want and I will do these 3 things by such and such time. Now, if Rachel is telling me that she might or maybe one day, and using language that isn't confident, it will be this partner's job to kind of challenge that and say, sorry, what do you want? When will you do it by? And ensure that they are able to say what they actually commit to. Yeah, you were just pretty. Yeah, that was helpful. Thank you. Thank you. OK, so in the first instance, for 2 minutes, I'd like you to work by yourself and just jot this thing down. Think about your 3 ideas for yourself, and then I'll move you into partners. 2 minutes. Has everyone got something? Yeah, that they're willing to commit to? A few people look scared. That's OK. Still. OK. All right, so if you've done 1 or 2, that's completely fine. It's really just for you to get an experience of committing to something out loud and finding a way to follow it through with an accountability partner. So what I'm going to encourage you to do, I'm like, as soon as I stop talking, everyone's going to get up. So we're going to stand up. We're going to talk to a partner that we've not spoken to yet. We're going to, the person with, I'm just going to say this already, the person with the lightest color eyes is going to start. We're going to have 2 minutes to convince the other person with our physiology, our body language, and our language that we are definitely going to commit to those 3 things and by when. And the partner can ask some questions to clarify and make sure that they're definitely going to do it. Any questions? No. Great. Stand up and find a partner. OK. Now, keep that momentum up, because I'd like to just put it out there and see who would like to develop their courage muscle and tell everyone in the room what it is they're committed to changing in their life. Now's your chance. Come on, Jai. Okay. All right, yay. Go on, give him a warm welcome. Tell us what you're going to do.
Cool, so I want to build a level of stability and serenity which is consistent and sustainable. So this is because a lot of kind of failings in the past have been because of impulsivity and kind of inconsistency. So I'm looking at 3 strategies to kind of actually practically do that day to day. So the first one I've got is to start having consistency to a morning routine. So even if this is just like 15-20 minutes a day, just doing the same thing when I get up, kind of not getting sidetracked by external things. So I'm thinking that's going to be...
Can I pause you?
Sure.
What's in that morning routine?
So the morning routine is going to be probably a 10-minute meditation, then just a few basic exercises and some yoga. So some days I currently go to the gym, but it's not, I want something that's going to be consistent every single day, no matter what's going on. So even if I don't, so I go to the gym, there's something I'm doing, and that's just to build that kind of consistency. So I start getting used to having consistency, having something I can kind of build on daily. The second one is set intentions every day, which I can review at the end of the day. So actually waking up in the morning, deciding, right, what is it that I want from this day, rather than just again getting sidetracked by things and then losing that focus. And the third thing is do some sort of piece of work on career plans every day. So I've kind of got a bit of a vision now as to where I want to be in the future in some kind of 5 years, 10 years. So in the past, I've tended to get sidetracked. I've tended to have a lot of ideas and thought about one thing one day, and then a few days later I'll be thinking about actually I'm going to do this, and then so rather than doing that, every day keep the focus on this vision I've got now, which actually seems tangible and seems like something I can do. Each day, even if it's only something quite minor, just to keep that focus, so that rather than getting lost and sidetracked again, I stay on the track that I've started to set myself on that.
So I love the thing about setting an intention for the day. And I do that before I check my emails or check my phone and have all the noise coming into my life, jotting down 3 things that I want to get out of that day. That helps with there's so many ideas, where do I start? Now I've got 3, and if you do even one thing every day over the course of a year, you've got 365, right? Times that by 3, math's not my strong point, by 10, right? And see what it could be. So what I'd love to see for you is more detail around what time is that morning routine? Does the intentions come before it or after it? And how can you sustain it with an accountability partner? Yes? Give him a big round of applause. Come on, anyone else want to develop their courage muscle? No? This is your best opportunity. You don't even have to lay flat in a club. Yes! Okay, good. Go, Faiz. You're next. Okay, welcome Faiz to the stage.
So I want to set up a talk for men to help them get into their masculine energy. Because nowadays, a lot of men are confused about what it is to be a man. So I've been confused for a long time, because we all get told, man up, be a man, do this. So I just want to set up a talk for men and workshops for men who struggle like myself to get into, learn about themselves.
Wonderful. Give him a round of applause. I sort of know this, but when are you going to do this by?
My first talk is going to be end of October.
Woo!
So I'm going to start working with a friend of mine who's a life coach, and he does self-worth and self-love. So we've got together and we've talked about it, but I'm going to action this on Friday. So on Friday I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
The event will be there. I'm going to get the momentum going.
Very good. So any men in the room, if you want to join up, talk to Faiz afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now you look so brave on your seat there. Tell us. What are you going to do and by when?
Well,
Confident body language. Thank you.
one thing I'm really struggling at the moment is to keep fit and get myself to exercise regularly. So my goal is sort of to work on that. I don't know. Really.
How are you going to do that? How often are you going to do something every week?
Well, I think I should do it 3 times a week, and to start with, let's say half an hour, because it's.
So I'm going to challenge the word should and ask you, what do you want to do? What's the type of exercise or the amount of time that you really want to do because you're going to feel great and feel healthy?
I got inspired by your morning routine, so I was thinking it would be great to take that time, maybe some yoga, something refreshing, because in the morning I feel also that inspiring moment, my brain is at the highest point during that time of the day.
So you want to do some exercise first thing in the morning, how many times a week?
3 times a week, and wake up half an hour earlier than I would just to get ready for it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Just checking if anyone else is going, oh my God, me. No, it's quite late. It's quite hot. I understand. Well done. Another round of applause to the 3 people that did get up. Thank you. So what I'd like to leave you with today, some people have already put their email addresses down on this form. So if you would like to receive some of the strategies that we talked about today, please do put your email address down in some clear handwriting. And there's a column on the right, because what I'd like to offer everyone who signs up today is an absolutely free action planning coaching session with me. Okay? So that can allow you to build on the momentum that you've started here and create a bit of a bigger plan. So thinking about being a manager of your own life, that will be the place to do it. Does that sound all right for people? So I'm going to leave this here. It's going to go around the room afterwards. And we're going to just do a quick review. I'm going to be all teachery again. Who remembers what we started with? What do we want? Exactly. And then what? I won't look at you. You already did that one. Huh? Why you can't have it? Those reasons? Yeah? What else? It's been a long night. Visualizing, exactly. Who here can think of sort of creating a visualization for themselves, maybe just not this gentleman here, to set them up for the day? Because I even use it for weight loss. If I want to lose a little bit, before the noise of the day, again, sometimes that's crucial. I'll imagine myself wearing, you know, the jeans that are in my cupboard that I still don't fit, but I keep them anyway. But not only what I'll look like, but how I'll feel, the discussions I'll have with people, the confidence. So just like 1 minute and then go, yeah, I'm really going to get this exercise. Visualization, and then what? What happens when we get stuck? Exactly, pretty big one. And we talked about the 5 key strategies for supporting us when we do get stuck. Can you remember the first one? Start when? Start before you're ready. Okay, if you remember, somebody said I want to just take one thing from today. If that's the one thing, then that's a pretty good one. And finally, take action. So who here is actually really, truly committed to the 3 things that they've put down or thought about? So what I'd encourage you to do right now is link up with an accountability partner. So that can be somebody who's next to you, or it might be the person that you've talked to during the exercise, but exchange email addresses or numbers so that the by when am I going to do this by, you can actually email somebody and tell them. Yeah, so just 5 minutes, find the person you'd like to be an accountability partner with and exchange email addresses. Luckily we're in a room above a bar, so people can, please feel free to continue talking with each other downstairs. Please do exchange those email addresses. Remember, the work starts now, and it's up to you to carry on the momentum to make your dreams possible. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to share some of these strategies with you that have come just through my life experience and through the work that I do. You've been a great group. For my first time here at Interesting Talks, you played along. Thank you so much. And I'll be around if anybody wants to ask any questions or sign up for the free coaching session. Otherwise, let's have a drink downstairs. Woo. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been one of the hottest days of the year, so well done. Don't worry, winter's coming. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Massive thanks to Petra. Like I say, it's been her first time here, and I'll tell you what, she puts a lot of my professional speakers to shame. She really does. Have a look at what's coming. We've got loads going, but a massive thank you to Petra. Thank you.